Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my podcast. My name is Lynette. Today we're going to talk about loving yourself. I know we've gone over this a little bit in the last couple of episodes, but I want to elaborate a little more about when you love yourself, it's like multitudes love you. The reason for that is because you are zeroing in on certain specific people that you want their attention. You want them to love you. You're trying to grasp on to how they feel. Your identity is associated with their response to you. But when you really love yourself, it doesn't matter about anybody else, especially those specific ones. You can let all that go. And as I mentioned in an earlier episode, it's like a magnet that comes over you. And the truth is, at that point, you don't even care. It just happens. People are drawn to you without you even trying. So again, we're going to elaborate a little more on that and talk about what brings you to that point where you don't need anybody else. First, I want to share with you an experience that I had. Some years ago, I was going out for my birthday, and there was a group of girls that were going to go out, and we were going to celebrate. But a few of them couldn't make it for whatever reason. And I was upset. I was really dwelling on the ones that weren't going to be there. And I was really upset. I was dwelling on the ones that weren't going to be there for whatever reason. And when I was standing in the bathroom getting ready to go out for that evening, this voice of wisdom came to me and it said, be happy about who is going to be there. And that little comment, that bit of wisdom that came to me, and this is the type of wisdom I've gone over and over with you about that you get when you pray and meditate and when you listen to God's still small voice. It's gentle, but it is profound. So when I got this message about celebrating or enjoying who is going to be there, it changed everything about the way I feel. And that's pretty much how it is in life. Because we target specific people that we want their attention. Our mood depends on how they seem to feel about us, how connected we are to certain people. And the truth of it is, when you find those who are there for you, who love you for who you are, who can see who you are, and love you and are there, not only does it take the stress away, because it takes too much work trying to get someone's attention, because the truth is, we don't know what anybody else is going through in their life and their emotions, in their thoughts. But when you enjoy and accept who is around you and who does care for you and who does support you, you can breathe. Oh my gosh, it's like the weight of the world is lifted because you have good people who love you and care about you and support you for who you are. And sometimes when things take too much work, like trying to get a specific person's attention, it's not meant to be. It doesn't mean you can't be connected to them. It doesn't mean you can't be friends with them or whatever your relationship is. What it means is don't try to change them. Don't try to make them see you a certain way, because you can't change people and you cannot change how they see you. But what you can do is enjoy the people that are there for you, that are around you, that are supportive, that like you for who you are, that can see who you are. They care about you, you care about them. And when this happens, it's almost like your arms can float up in the air. You know, I don't know if you've ever laid in bed and you're really stressed about something. And pretty soon you feel it in your shoulders, you feel it in your arms, and everything seems to tighten down. But when you take steps to eliminate the stress, and part of it is by having people around you who you love, who loves you, who you can trust, just good people, gives you more of a freedom and takes away some of that stress. And it's interesting how as you go through life, and you start to release the stress. You start to realize the steps you need to take to live in freedom. As I said, it's almost a floating sensation. It's almost like the climate in the air on the outside of your body is the same air that's on the inside. In other words, you were then one with the universe. You aren't forcing it. You're not trying to make things happen. You're not trying to make people see you as you think it would be pleasing to them if they knew you in a certain way. Because there's a good chance that people will never see you for the way that you think you are or for the way that you know you are. And it's because of what's going on in their life. It really has nothing to do with you. I'm going to go over a few things in the physical that makes these steps much easier. Yes, you have to take the steps spiritually and have the right thoughts in your mind, but to make that even an easier walk, the common sense things that I think we all know is eating correctly is huge, especially eliminating sugar to an extent, because sugar causes inflammation. And when you get inflammation, you also get it in your brain. And when your brain swells, it changes your thoughts. And then, of course, we need to do a bit of exercise just because our bodies need it, and that shows self-love. And the third thing is the praying and meditating. And if you do the first two things, especially the eating correctly, when you pray and when you meditate, you are more open to hearing those subtle, small voices. If you've never experienced it, I hope you do. But those of you who have already, you know what I'm talking about when I say a subtle, small, still voice. It gives you the answers. And to be honest with you, I wish I got those answers every day. But you don't. You have to be in a certain quiet place. And to get in that quiet place, you have to take steps to make your body in the peak situation through eating right, through exercising. And then the prayer and meditation will become more effective. I myself get caught up in family, friends, whatever, and you think, gosh, I can tell by the way they show lack of respect that they don't see me for who I am. But the big picture is, why do we care? Why do we care if these people don't see us for who we are? They see us for who they think we are or who they think we were. But why do we care if they don't see us for the person that we think we are? But that is the wonderful thing about self-love. When you have self-love, you don't care if those people see you for who you are, because you see you for who you are. You have confidence in who you are. You then have peace of mind. And as you probably know or have been told or have learned in any kind of church, that the first love of your life is God. And we probably think, yes, I know that. But it is true, and He is there to give you the wisdom that you need at the time. But when you truly love yourself, when you stop thinking about what others think about you, but you're doing everything you can do to make yourself the best that you can be, then you develop that self-love. And that self-love is where there's real freedom. And when you find that self-love is when you can live in the present moment, when you can give love yourself, when you can be there for others. When you have self-love, you feel connected not only to the universe, but connected to God, connected to yourself, connected to the spiritual, connected to the universe. I remember a ways back when we had to move back to my hometown, and I couldn't explain how I felt. I didn't feel right. It was like, I felt like I lost all my friends, all my contact. And then I can't remember exactly how this came about, but somebody said to me, there's this lady that has a computer that can tell how you're feeling. And when you've reached rock bottom, you'll pretty much do anything, even let a computer figure things out. And honestly, I didn't think it could, but it did. So I went to this meeting, and the lady said, based on what the computer said, that I felt disconnected. And I never thought of it in that way, but it was like, it really hit the nail on the head. I felt disconnected from the world. I felt disconnected from my friends. I felt disconnected from the people I used to know. And it was interesting. So when we get that disconnect, we need to engage on finding what our new connection is. Sometimes it involves the next best chapter of your life. Sometimes it involves redesigning yourself. Sometimes it involves taking a step back and reaching out to those you used to know. But regardless of what it is, when you do your prayer meditation, and by the way, I did one of those vision boards. Those are pretty much amazing. It's a board, you cut out pictures from a magazine, what your future goals are, and you glue it on this board. And it just goes out into the universe. And you don't even have to look at it. And one day you will look back and look at that board, and it's amazing how many things have come to pass. But in getting through this disconnect, I started with the vision board, and other things took me on a journey, on a path that made me land where I'm at right now. And it's like, it wasn't necessarily good things that brought me to this path, but it was life. And if you're open to life unraveling the way it should, and it's not always comfortable getting to where you need to be, but when life takes you on a journey and you end up where you should have been from the start, but because maybe there was a little resistance or there were some things you had to learn along the way, and it brings you to where you need to be. And that's where you not only have your spiritual walk, but you feel more connected and you feel like you are the person you were meant to be. Now, there's a lot of people, rather than take that journey, because sometimes it is painful, but if you don't go through it, if you mask it through abusive substances or whatever takes away your thoughts, then you never develop to where you are supposed to be, the person you're supposed to be, your true self. And if you let that journey unfold and go along and look at the lessons that you're learning along the way, at the end of the road, when you love yourself, when you become the person that you were meant to be, when you can live in the present moment, when the air feels as good on the outside as it does on your inside, when your arms can raise up because there's a sense of freedom, there is nothing that can compete with that. To me, that is true success, when you find the happiness within yourself, and everything else is just a blessing. Everything else, when you work towards your career and with this new confidence, with this new self-love, you walk in knowing that you're just what they wanted. And if you don't get it, you will know that it wasn't the best place for you to be at that moment. So no matter how tough things get in life, your goal in your journey is always the same end game. And that's to end up in the place where you're supposed to be, the person you're supposed to be, that you can smile and love because you have freedom. And I'm talking about emotional and mental freedom. You can just enjoy your life, enjoy the people that are around you. Maybe it's not the goal for all people at this time, because we're all on a different journey. And that's very obvious. If you turn on the news, you will see that we definitely are not all on the same journey. But if you're on a journey for more happiness, more health, more freedom, more self-love, then these are the steps that you would want to take. These are the steps that you'll want to follow. With that being said, I wish you all the very best, and I will talk to you next week. Bye-bye.